The oldest known tattoos were found on a 5,300-year-old mummy named Ötzi the Iceman, whose body was discovered in the Alps with 61 different tattoos etched into his skin. Now here's why that matters to us. These tattoos weren't just decorative. They may have played a role in pain relief and healing, revealing a sophisticated understanding of the human body, beyond what we usually imagine for ancient societies. So, what was the real purpose of these ancient tattoos? And how did they manage to be so consistent across different cultures and time periods? Let's actually dig into this. Did ancient humans see tattoos as purely decorative marks, or did they have deeper meanings and uses? And if so, why does this happen with such consistency across the ancient world, from the icy peaks of Europe to the sun-baked plains of Africa? Let's start with therapeutic tattooing, which some researchers have termed medico-decorative marking. The idea is that tattoos were applied at specific points on the body to aid in health and healing. The mechanism behind this involves the tattoos acting as primitive acupuncture points, where the constant irritation and pigmentation may have provided relief through the stimulation of nerve pathways. Take Ötzi the Iceman again. Many of his tattoos were located on his lower back and legs, areas where signs of arthritis were detected. The alignment of these tattoos with traditional acupuncture points suggests a deliberate aim to alleviate chronic pain. Just think about that. Tattoos as ancient pain relief tools. A second example comes from the Pacific Islands, where tattooing has been a long-standing tradition. The Māori people of New Zealand use tattoos, or tamoto, not only for decorative purposes, but also as a means to enhance spiritual healing. Some of these tattoos followed lines that matched known acupuncture meridians, suggesting a broader, cross-cultural recognition of tattooing's health benefits. But wait, doesn't this seem a bit at odds with our usual perception of tattoos as purely aesthetic? The ink and needle seem far removed from any kind of medicine today. But here's the twist. Even modern studies have started to explore the idea that tattooing can increase immunological resilience, as the skin's reaction can boost the body's natural defenses. This suggests that tattoos might not only have been about showing cultural identity or beauty, but were also deeply practical, tied to well-being and survival. But how could these ancient people have developed such a system? That question brings us to cultural transmission of tattooing knowledge. This is a process historians call transcultural marking, where techniques and meanings are shared and adapted across societies. This sharing of knowledge may explain the widespread use of tattoos with similar purposes across vastly different civilizations. Consider the ancient Egyptians, who also practiced tattooing, notably on female mummies. The tattoos often appeared on the abdomen and thighs, areas associated with fertility and childbirth. This points to a shared understanding that tattoos could serve protective or health-related functions, passed down through generations. Meanwhile, in the Americas, many Native American tribes also used tattooing as part of their cultural and medicinal practices. The Haida people from the Pacific Northwest coast had tattoos that represented family lineage, but were also believed to protect individuals in spiritual and health matters, echoing similar practices found far across the globe. Now, isn't it a bit strange that this complex knowledge could be so widespread? Perhaps. But it also underlines a universal human trait, adapting symbols and practices to suit immediate needs, like health and community cohesion, regardless of where you are. How did ancient humans even decide which tattoos would be most beneficial? Let's explore that. The concept of symbolic resonance, sometimes explained as cultural symbol encoding, plays a part here. This is the idea that certain symbols or patterns hold intrinsic power or meaning within a culture, which can serve as a unifying force or even a social glue. Across many cultures, spirals, concentric circles, and other geometric designs are common. In Europe, the Picts, a Celtic tribe in ancient Scotland, famously inked themselves with such bold symbols as a reflection of their identity and a possible invocation of spiritual power. The designs weren't random. They served to connect individuals to a larger community narrative. In another corner of the world, the Berbers of North Africa used detailed facial tattoos known as imazigan, which often featured patterns believed to offer protection or communicate social standing. These designs served not only as a personal mark, but also as a powerful social currency, loaded with meaning. But it seems paradoxical, right? Tattoos are deeply personal, yet they connect strangers across cultures. Here's where it gets fascinating. Each tattoo serves a dual purpose. It marks the individual, while also intertwining them with the larger cultural web. Understanding how these symbols carry weight across cultures helps explain why, despite different environments, the practice of tattooing thrived worldwide. But how did they achieve such remarkable consistency in execution and technique? Technological tattooing consistency, sometimes called the ink tool standardization, is the answer to this intriguing puzzle. This concept highlights how similar tools and techniques emerged independently in different cultures due to the universal requirements of the tattooing process: skin, pigment, and a tool for application. Let's look at the Polynesian islands again. Here, traditional tools often involved comb-like instruments made from bone, with ink derived from natural sources like charcoal. This method, known as tatau, created deeply rich patterns and was so effective that it remained largely unchanged for centuries. Similarly, in ancient China, tattooing involved tools and pigments that were strikingly similar in function, if not form. Needles crafted from bone or metal were used to puncture the skin, while soot-based inks provided the pigmentation, paralleling practices seen in distant lands. But how can we explain the variety of tools and regional styles if they all stem from the same basic needs? While the core method remained constant, each culture's unique environment and resources shaped the specific tools and styles, creating a diversity that reflected both innovation and necessity. These technological parallels tell us something crucial about ancient humans. They were adept at problem solving, using available resources to meet similar needs, which explains the astonishing consistency across time and place. So, if tools and technologies were similar, how did each culture infuse such personal and meaningful expressions into their practices? Personal identity through tattooing, or dermal identity expression, is a concept that may hold the final key. It's the idea that tattoos serve as a canvas for self-expression, blending cultural norms with personal stories, to create an identity worn on the skin. Among the Ainu people of Japan, tattoos were not just marks but a rite of passage that reflected personal milestones and societal roles. Women bore distinct mouth tattoos as they transitioned into adulthood, marking both personal and communal identity. Similarly, in ancient Rome, soldiers often tattooed themselves with symbols of the legion they belonged to, a mark of pride and identity that was both personal and a statement of allegiance. But isn't it curious how tattoos, despite being a personal choice, often follow cultural templates? This duality underlines an incredible aspect of human nature, our desire to belong while still expressing individuality. The practice of tattooing, as both an expression of personal identity and a collective custom, highlights why tattoos have persisted through millennia and across cultures. It's a reminder of the complex relationship between individual and community, one that has been literally etched into the fabric of human history. A fascinating theory is chronocultural synchronization, a term used to describe how specific practices, like tattooing, emerge simultaneously across time, but in different geographic locations, seemingly without direct connection. The mechanism behind this could involve shared human experiences and needs, manifesting in similar cultural innovations. Take the Thracians of ancient Southeast Europe. By the 5th century BCE, their warriors displayed extensive body tattoos that denoted social status and martial prowess, recorded by historians such as Herodotus. This shows a sophisticated societal role for tattoos, independent of, yet contemporaneous with other cultures. Meanwhile, across the globe, the Inuit of the Arctic likewise embedded tattoos within their cultural fabric by the same era. These tattoos, often applied to women's faces and hands, were believed to ensure passage into the afterlife, serving both aesthetic and spiritual roles. Yet how could such distant cultures develop parallel tattooing traditions without direct contact? Here lies the twist. Shared human challenges, like establishing social hierarchies or spiritual systems, may have driven similar solutions. Thus, tattoos became a universal language, reflecting human ingenuity in the face of parallel challenges. The notion of chronocultural synchronization suggests that the rise of tattooing wasn't merely coincidental, but a reflection of human creativity and the deep-seated need for expression and meaning across disparate societies. Could it be that our shared experiences forge such universal embodiments of culture and identity? In the end, tattoos weren't just ink on skin. They were and are a sophisticated blend of art, medicine, technology, and identity. Those ancient marks on Ötzi the Iceman's skin, they bridge a vast timeline of human innovation and connection, showing that something as simple as a tattoo can tell a story much bigger than we might expect.